Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. I think I know what Sam Elliott's Landman character will be, and it's really good. I'm pretty sure I know what Taylor Sheridan has planned for Sam Elliott's new character in Landman, and it would be great if it were true. Landman is the Yellowstone executive producer's new oil drama, starring Billy Bob Thornton. The show premiered alongside the final season of Yellowstone, debuting in November 2024 to immediate success. The West Texas saga follows Thornton's frontman, Tommy Norris, the fixer for the MTX oil company, run by Monty Miller, John Hamm, in Landman Season 1. In Landman's first 10 episodes, we get to know Tommy and his family. Landman's cast includes Tommy's wife and daughter, Angela, Ellie Larder, and Ainsley Norris, Michelle Randolph, who move in with Tommy amid the more harrowing events of Landman Season 1. Things will get even wilder for Norris as he steps up to run MTX after Monty Miller's death in Landman Season 1's finale. Landman Season 2 has also added Sam Elliott to the cast, and I think I know just what the iconic Western actor's role will be after Tommy's MTX promotion. Since Hamm's Landman character, Monty Miller, died in Landman Season 1's finale, Thornton has said that Tommy will play a more significant role in Landman Season 2 in the company's operations, with Norris sometimes throwing a sports jacket over his oil patch clothes. While it's almost impossible to imagine anyone else in Thornton's role as Landman, with Tommy stepping up to run the oil company's more executive functions, MTX will need a new fixer to manage the day-to-day ground operations in Tommy's place. With Landman Season 2 adding Sam Elliott to the cast, I wonder if Elliott has been chosen to replace Thornton as MTX's fixer. Elliott has a robust career as a leading man, so it makes sense that his casting would be a significant one, symbolically taking Thornton's place. Elliott's character taking over for Tommy Norris as Landman would be hard to argue with, since the actor has the chops for the role, and is already a tested Taylor Sheridan actor. Elliott was one of the key cast members in 1883, Sheridan's first Yellowstone spin-off. We know Elliott is great in a Sheridan production, thanks to 1883, wherein he helped lead the show as She Brennan. Elliott's 1883 character is a Union veteran and wagon train leader who leads a train of emigrants along the Oregon Trail in the offshoot. James Tim McGraw and Margaret Dutton, Faith Hill, tag along with She's wagon train on the trail, traveling northwest from Texas. Billy Bob Thornton is also in 1883, playing Marshal Jim Courtright, and we see the actors in a few scenes together. She Brennan seeks out the marshal, based on a real person, after a group of unruly men attack the men, women, and children of his wagon train, killing several members of the party before they ever leave Texas. Brennan goes to the marshal to help him apprehend the criminals, finding them at the White Elephant Saloon. Elliott and Thornton gunsling side by side in the 1883 scene, killing all the criminals in a matter of seconds. However, Thornton and Elliott don't have more scenes together, since the marshal stays behind in Fort Worth. After She parts with Marshal Courtright in Fort Worth, he makes his final harrowing journey along the Oregon Trail, successfully reaching the Oregon coast. She is one of the few members of his wagon train to make it at the end of 1883, and his journey in the titular year is doubtlessly one of his most difficult. The majority of She's wagon train dies in the prequel, succumbing to the elements and other dangers as they fail to successfully heed his instructions, due to inexperience, stubbornness, and language barriers. Amid the clamor of the journey, Shea is a fierce leader, often yelling at his party as they cower in fear or watch him with awestruck expressions. Shea doesn't hesitate to tell it like it is, frequently losing his temper, but he works coolly amid the most significant dangers he navigates. All the traits that Elliott possesses in 1883 would lend themselves perfectly to his potential role as MTX's new fixer in Landman, with Elliott able to emulate the complexity of Thornton's role entirely. Shia is also a compassionate leader beneath the surface, as is Tommy and Landman. When it comes to rugged Americana, gravel-voiced wisdom, and a mustache that could intimidate a grizzly, Sam Elliott has no equal. From his days as the mysterious stranger in The Big Lebowski to his heartbreaking performance in The Hero, Elliott has embodied the soulful, often stoic cowboy archetype like no other. So when news dropped that he'd be joining Landman, Taylor Sheridan's upcoming oil boom drama, fans collectively tipped their hats in anticipation. But what kind of character would the iconic Elliott play in a Sheridan series about Texas roughnecks and the high-stakes world of West Texas drilling? I think I know, and it's really good. Picture this: Sam Elliott as Boone Mathers, a legendary oil scout turned mentor who straddles the old and new world of Texas oil with a weathered grace and an unshakable code. Boone is the kind of man who doesn't carry a business card because everyone who needs to know him already does. He walks into a room like he owns the mineral rights to the floor beneath your boots. Once a roughneck himself, Boone worked every rung of the ladder: mudlogger, tool pusher, driller, and finally landman, but not the kind who signs leases from behind a laptop in a Houston high-rise. Boone earned every deal with a handshake, a campfire story, and enough legal savvy to rival a law firm. And now, at the tail end of a storied career, he's being drawn back into a world he thought he left behind. Here's where it gets interesting. Boone isn't just there for nostalgia or sage advice. He's the compass for the moral complexity that pulses through Landman. In Sheridan's gritty universe, where capitalism claws at the soul and loyalty is often a liability, Boone Mathers becomes the old bull in the pasture, slow to move, but unstoppable when provoked. In the pilot, we meet Boone living in near seclusion on a sprawling piece of land, scared by the rigs of his past. He's got a dog named Diesel, a battered Ford pickup, and a vintage Colt Peacemaker that's more ceremonial than practical, though no one doubts he could still use it. A younger Landman, possibly played by Billy Bob Thornton or another brash up-and-comer, shows up on his porch, looking for insight, maybe even redemption, after a deal goes south. Boone isn't easily persuaded to leave his piece, but something in the kid's eyes, maybe a reflection of who he used to be, pulls him back into the game. As the series unfolds, Boone becomes a reluctant mentor, guiding the next generation through the murky waters of mineral rights, family feuds, and corporate backstabbing. He's not just teaching them how to play the game, he's showing them how not to lose their soul in the process. And let's be clear, Boone has scars, regrets, people he wronged or left behind. That's what makes him compelling. Sheridan doesn't write cardboard heroes, he writes men who bleed, who wrestle with the land and themselves. Boone would fit right in. There's also a deeper thread to explore. Boone as the living embodiment of a disappearing West. He remembers when land deals were settled over whiskey and a man's word meant something. Now, with fracking empires and tech-driven acquisitions, Boone is a dinosaur with a spine of steel. In an early scene, he might walk through a neon-lit office full of touchscreen maps and legal jargon, his boots echoing like gunshots on tile floors, and say something like, "Used to be you only needed a truck, a map, and a good hat. Now it looks like NASA in here." Yet Boone adapts, not because he wants to, but because the land still calls to him. Elliott's voice would carry the weight of the oil field like scripture. Boone wouldn't give long speeches, but when he speaks, people listen. He might say little, but everything is laced with meaning. You don't own the land, son. You borrow it from your grandchildren. Or maybe there's oil under your feet, but bloodstains last longer. And then there's conflict. Boone might find himself caught between two warring families, or between environmental activists and corporate giants. He could be the man trying to broker peace while holding his own secrets close to the vest. Maybe a daughter he hasn't seen in years works for the opposition, and now they're forced to reckon with both their past and the pipeline tearing through it.